Hey everybody, it's Mike. It's Friday. It's April 8th, 2022. It's early in the morning. I have a lot of stuff I have to attend to today, so I figured let me try to get this video out as soon as I can. So this video I'm going to title Beatle Odds and Ends, and as I've explained in other videos, I have a ton of videos and other Beatle content sitting on my hard drive, and when I store the stuff on my computer, I'm thinking that I'm going to be able to incorporate this content into a larger presentation down the road. But after 6 years, there's a lot of stuff. So I think what I'm going to do going forward is to try to do some short videos and put some of this stuff out in bite-sized chunks. And this is what this video is going to be about. Now, before I get started, you might be asking, why does he have an image of the Beatles' rock and roll music album on the chart? And the reason is very simple. It's because it's one of my favorite Beatles' greatest hits albums. I remember buying it back in the 1970s. I forgot the exact year that it was released, but I do know that I played it to death. So that's the reason why it's on the slide. So what I'm going to take you through with this presentation is Janus the Two-Faced God. Janus was a Roman god. And I'm going to show you the connection between Janus and John Lennon. Janus represents transformation, change, endings, and new beginnings, and we will get into Janus with the next slide. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Tarot Fool card and how it applies to Billy. In the video I put up a few days ago, a comment came in from a professional tarot card reader, and I responded and asked them if they had any additional insights with regard to how the Fool card fits in with Billy. And they responded with a great comment. And I'm going to cover that so we can get some more understanding of how Billy ties into the Fool card. And then I'm going to take you through the song Hey Bulldog. And we're going to assess the official narrative against a bootleg recording and see if the official narrative maps to reality. And then I will wrap up the video with some housekeeping. I'll talk about emails and comments. Okay, so with that, let's move to slide number 2. Janus, the god of doors, gates, and transitions, and Janus is a Roman god. Janus is portrayed with two faces, one facing the past and one facing the future. He also holds a key in his right hand, which symbolizes his protection of doors, gates, thresholds, and other separations or openings between spatial boundaries. The month of January is derived from Janus. In ancient Roman religion and mythology, Janus was the god of gates and doors. Janus represented the middle ground between both concrete and abstract dualities, such as life and death, beginnings and endings, youth and adulthood, rural and urban, war and peace, and barbarism versus civilization. Janus was known as the initiator of human life, transformations between stages of life, and shifts from one historical era to another. And we can interpret that as ages. And I will leave a link down below in the description box if you want to learn more about the god Janus. Now, that takes me to the next slide. And I've had this video sitting on my hard drive for quite a while. And the title of the chart is Lennon and Janus, More Occult Symbolism. Now, before I play the clip, let's take note of what it is that I would like you to focus on and be aware of. Now, as you watch the clip, you're going to notice that Lennon is dressed in a red jumpsuit. It's very hard to miss. And red denotes fire, the sun, rebirth, and regeneration. And we can associate fire with the god Prometheus, who brought the flame or fire to humanity. And many mythologists will associate Prometheus with Lucifer, who is the light bearer. So there's an association between fire and the light. And of course, we can associate the light with the sun and sun worship. And rebirth and regeneration can be indicative of endings and beginnings, change, transformations. Then you'll see the backing band they're playing. And by the way, this entire performance is a backing track. The backing band is wearing two-faced masks, which is a representation of Janus. And they are dressed in black. And the red and black colors are associated with the Illuminati. And I have a screen capture here of the two-faced masks. And of course, that is the Roman god Janus, change and transitions. Now, as we watch the clip and we note the occult symbolism, also focus on John Lennon himself and notice his facial features, in particular his nose, his stance, and his overall presentation as he's singing and playing. And ask yourself, are we seeing the same guy from the 1962 through 1966 period? So if we go back to old concert footage of the Beatles during the early period, is the guy that we're seeing in this clip, and this is from 1975, is it the same person? Is this biological John or a double? I'll let you decide. Okay, so with that, this clip is a salute to Sir Lew Grade, and Lew Grade was a British media proprietor and impresario. So let's take a listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Lennon, etc.
Slipping in the slide and keeping in the high. So a long time ago. Slipping in the slide and keeping in the high. Been so a long time ago. I've been told, baby, you've been born. I won't be your fool no more. I'll pick a knife and nothing but a jive. And gun hit to your jive. I'll pick a knife and nothing but a jive. And gun hit to your jive. Fool no more, yeah. All my land, she's a solid surrender. You know you better surrender. All my land, she's a solid surrender. You know you better surrender. Slipping in the slide, leaving in the high. Won't be your fool no more, yeah. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if we can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood and sisterhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Okay, so a couple of things before I move to the next slide. You'll note that John Lennon sang the line, "Imagine no immigration," which is a reference to open borders, and both songs were being played to a backing track with Lennon doing a live vocal. And with that, let's move to the next slide, slide number 4. And here I have on the left a screen capture from John Lennon from a 1966 concert. And here's Lennon from the video we just watched from 1975. And notice the nose on the right. We have this more pointed, kind of a beaked nose here. And we don't have that here. We have a straighter nose. And the distance between the tip of the nose going back to the back of the nostril does not appear to be as long as what we see here. And the ears are difficult to see because of the quality of the video and thus the capture. But also note that in the 1975 clip that we just watched, he has a mole here on the left side of his face. And we don't see that mole here unless we want to make an argument that it's being covered up by his sideburn. Right? So if we take the bottom of the earlobe and move across, it's possible it can be here, but I don't know. But the noses look very, very different to me. Okay, so I'll leave it there, and I'll let you guys decide. Okay, so it's actually the next day. It's Saturday, April 9th. I thought I was going to be able to get the video done yesterday morning, but I just had so much stuff to attend to yesterday that here I am the next day, and we will just pick up where I left off, which is slide number 5. So a few days ago, I did a video titled Lord Billy Shears, and in that video, I made a connection between the mythological god Pan as well as the Fool card in the tarot deck to Billy and the Beatles. And I received a great comment from a listener who is a professional tarot reader. And here's their comment. This is how they responded. You have it correct. And he's talking about Pan and the Fool in the tarot deck. It is central to the Beatles mythos. Peter Pan, Pan, the childlike wonder magic that sparkles all around the Fab Four. The Fool can also be an illusionist, fooling people with his disguise. He plays the innocent, but can be wise. For example, Billy's childlike songs and sentimental love songs. He is the chameleon, the shapeshifter, the trickster, as well as the traveling troubadour, the mystic poet in love with life and blessed with childlike wonder, genius, and the courage to take risks. Notice how the Beatles are always called, quote, the boys or lads, but rarely, if ever, men. I also think the Beatles myth represents perpetual youth and innocence and working class honesty and pure unadorned talent. For example, folk musicians who are not technically proficient. This is all part of the Fool on the Hill mythos. And so when he's talking about the Beatles representing perpetual youth and innocence, working class honesty, and unadorned talent, I believe what he's saying is this is how the Beatles are portrayed. This is how the Beatle myth is sold to the public. It's the Cinderella story, the feel-good story that people love to embrace. So I thought this was a great comment, and I want to thank the person for offering their insights. So let's now move to slide number 6, and we're going to talk about Hey Bulldog. All right, so let's talk about the Beatles song Hey Bulldog. And I believe what we're going to see here is another situation where the official narrative is giving us a tall tale. It's another fictional account of how a song came to be. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to give you some background, and this comes from the Beatles Bible. And then with the next slide, I'm going to play some audio clips. So the Beatles Bible tells us that the song was written by Lennon and McCartney. It was recorded on February 11th, 1968. The producer was George Martin. The engineer was Jeff Emmerich. The song was released on January 17th, 1969 in the UK and January 13th, 1969 in the US. And the song is available on Yellow Submarine and the Yellow Submarine songtrack or soundtrack. The personnel, John Lennon, vocals, piano, and guitar, and we're going to focus very specifically on John Lennon and the piano. Paul McCartney or Billy, vocals, bass, and tambourine. George Harrison, guitar. Ringo Starr, drums. The Beatles Bible goes on to say that released on the soundtrack to the Yellow Submarine animation, Hey Bulldog was written and recorded while the Beatles were being filmed for a promotional film for Lady Madonna. The song started life as Hey Bullfrog, based on a few ideas sketched out by John Lennon. The line, "Some kind of solitude is measured out in you," was originally measured out in news, but Billy claimed to have misread Lennon's handwriting. And then we have a quote from John Lennon. It comes from Hunter Davies' book, The Beatles, and Lennon goes on to say, Paul said, "We should do a real song in the studio to save wasting time. Could I whip one off? I had a few words at home, so I brought them in." Okay, so that's the backstory. John is just going to whip the song off. It's essentially going to be written on the spot in the studio. So keep that in mind as we listen to the clips on slide number 7. Okay, so we're going to do some audio comparisons of Hey Bulldog. On the left is a version of the song. It's a karaoke version. It's obviously instrumental if it's karaoke, but it is almost identical to the recorded version on the album. So it's a very, very good sample. And then on the right, I'm going to play a clip of John Lennon, quote, writing and rehearsing Hey Bulldog. And this is a clip that I've had on my hard drive for a very long time. And so we're going to do a compare. And again, as I mentioned, we're going to focus very specifically on the piano playing. So let's take a listen to the instrumental on the recorded track. How tight it is. The piano and the rest of the band. Some kind of innocence measured out in years. And an awesome bass line. Don't know what it's like. Listen to your fears. again, listen to the piano. Okay, so that is very, very close to the recorded track of Hey Bulldog on Yellow Submarine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to play this clip. Now remember the backstory. John Lennon and the Beatles were going to whip one off in the studio. Now let's take a listen. It's painful. So the rest of the clip goes on like that. And you have to ask yourself, is this the same piano player on the instrumental track? I'll give you my opinion. No, it's not. So let's take another quick listen to the karaoke version. And like I said, it's almost identical to what is on the album. And listen to the piano playing. It's very tight. The entire band is tight. This clip represents studio players. All right, so studio musicians are playing Hey Bulldog on this clip. So let's take another listen. The piano playing is night and day.
Sheepdog, bullfrog, some kind of happiness is measured out in miles.
So I think you get the point. So we're expected to believe that what we heard here on the right-hand side is what John Lennon whipped off, and as they're in the studio, they banged out this. Didn't happen. That's Mike's opinion. Didn't happen. So we have this version on the right of Lennon writing, rehearsing, or whatever he's doing with Hey Bulldog. Maybe he's learning the song. I don't know. But what we hear on the left-hand side, the instrumental track, is not him on piano, and I don't even know if any of the Beatles are on the recorded track of Hey Bulldog on the Yellow Submarine album. Some might ask, well, do you think it's Billy playing right-handed and doing the bass? Maybe, I don't know. But the playing on the recorded track is so tight, it's so good that I don't see it being the Beatles playing on the song. Even if we go back to the Get Back sessions and we watch them as they were allegedly putting songs together, nothing even comes close to the musicianship, the playing that we're hearing on the recorded track. So I'll leave it there, but what I will ask is for my musician listeners to please chime in and comment and give your thoughts as you listen to and compared both audio tracks. Okay, so let's move now to email and video comments. Alrighty, so emails, and I've mentioned this in a number of videos, I receive a ton of them. So a high volume of email comes in on any given day. The majority of the emails are Beatles related. Folks will send me links and questions and all that stuff. And I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but much of what is sent my way, I have seen before. But that's okay, because every once in a while something I haven't seen comes through, and it could end up in one of my presentations or one of my videos. So because of the high volume of email, I cannot respond to every message, but I do try to read as many as I possibly can. And if someone sends me an email, what will happen is they will receive an auto response, and that auto response will explain that because of the high volume of email, I cannot respond to every message. And so if you don't hear back from me, it does not mean I don't love you. Okay, so I just wanted to reiterate that, because I do receive a lot of email, and many of them I just cannot respond to. All right, so let's talk a little bit about video comments. Okay, so why are some comments deleted and some folks banned? But before I get there, I also want to let everybody know that 99% of the comments are approved. It's a very, very small percentage of comments that do not make it into the comments section. Over the years, I've weeded out the bad actors. So what remains are all of the good people, all of the folks that want to engage in civil discourse and share ideas and insights, folks who are critical and free thinkers. I also want to mention that I approve all comments, which means when you leave a comment, it does not get posted right away to the comments section. It goes into a queue. And then when I have time, I will go through that queue and approve the comments, and that is when you will see the comment that you left, because I will get comments commenting that they don't see their comment. And the reason for that is because it's in the queue. So if you leave a comment, just wait a little bit. And when I get in, I'll approve them, and then you will see it. Now, with that being said, there are comments that will be deleted, and here are some of the reasons. The comment is not relevant to the video topic or subject. This happens more often on my main channel. So I'll put a presentation up, or I'll do an interview that has nothing to do with the Beatles. And a person will leave a comment and say, I know this is off topic and has nothing to do with the Beatles, but did you see this video about Billy? And even though I've seen this person comment before and they've left good comments, that comment is going to be deleted because it is not pertinent to the thread. Okay, so it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Another situation is when people leave comments that make no sense. In other words, there's no context to the comment that they left. So let's just say I'm doing a video on the Beatles and the person leaves a comment and they say, I like red wagons. And needless to say, that comment is going to be deleted for obvious reasons. Comments which link to, quote, unfriendly channels and or videos, and in parens, I have no free publicity. And what I mean by this, and I've mentioned this in a number of videos, there is a small segment of the Paul is Dead research community which can be highly toxic. And they spend an inordinate amount of time attacking me. That seems to be their whole purpose in life. And some of these characters have a YouTube channel or other platforms where they spew their hatred. And so I'm not going to give these folks the time of day. My time is spent on doing my own research and then presenting my findings and my ideas and then giving my audience the opportunity to decide for themselves what it is that they want to embrace, what it is they want to believe, what resonates with them. And I have done a number of videos where I'm not calling anybody out by name, but what I will do is address the tactics. And as I've said in the past, these folks who engage in this type of arrested developed behavior, if they just focus their attention on their own content, on their own research, and invested that time in getting their research out, they would be a lot further along. Why it is that they think that attacking me helps their cause, I have no idea. And in fact, I have explained the Streisand effect a couple of times in other videos. And the Streisand effect is when somebody is saying, don't look at that. Don't read that. Don't go over there. And then it's human nature to think to yourself, well, why is it they don't want me to watch that, or they don't want me to look at that guy's channel? You know what? I'm going to check it out. And then what happens is the exact opposite effect takes place, where they want to keep people from my content and looking at my research. People come in. And right now, I have about 2.3 million views and listens on my Beatle content. And so I must be doing something right. You know, I'm not saying I'm 100% on everything, but as I've mentioned, I think once the smoke clears out, I'm going to be far more right than I am wrong on what it is I'm presenting. Nobody can claim to be 100% right. Nobody can. Because it's a process of piecing it all together, finding all of the puzzle parts and trying to get the bigger picture understood. So to net it out, for those folks that are engaged in that type of behavior, really unproductive behavior, and if somebody unknowingly links to their content, and I know who these people are, that link is not going to be presented in the comment section. No free publicity for the haters. Comments which push theories or agendas which are significantly outside my research. As an example, the obvious one. Comments which go on about Paul is alive, or comments which are official narrative gatekeeping, or comments where it is obvious the person has done zero research. It's just not going to make it into the comments section. Again, the channel is geared toward free and critical thinkers. And if you're not there, then I don't know what to tell you. But I'm not going to approve nonsense and let it contaminate the comment section and the channel as a whole. And obviously, if somebody is trolling, they're going to be banned. Okay, folks, so that's it for this video. The comment section is open. Let me know what you think. And you guys and gals have a great day, and we will talk soon. Thanks for listening.